Kael Merrin was a mid-tier trader scraping by in the lawless drifts of the Orion Arm, ferrying scrap and synth fuel between derelict outposts and asteroid colonies. His ship, the Starblazer, was a rust bucket with more duct tape than alloy, but it kept him alive. When a scaled-fanged merchant named Vraktel offered him a deal on Virex 9, a space station held together by greed and rust, he balked. Vraktel's cargo wasn't crates of lucite rations or plasma batteries. It was a woman. "She's not a slave," Vraktel hissed, his forked tongue flickering. "She's leverage. Stolen from the Virexian Syndicate. They'll pay double if you return her, or triple if you vanish with her." Kael frowned. Slavery was taboo in core systems, but the Syndicate operated in the voids between galaxies, where laws dissolved. The woman stood motionless, her skin shimmering with iridescent silver scales, eyes like fractured crystal. She didn't plead, beg, or flinch. "What's your name?" Kael asked. "I was called Lirien," she replied, voice low and resonant, until they reprogrammed my voice modulator. Vraktel chittered. "She's a Ziyara. Their neural networks interface with quantum fields. Syndicate used them as living servers until they rebelled." Kael needed fuel to reach Lirien Prime, where a buyer waited for his cargo of cryoreactors. Taking Lirien meant risking Syndicate wrath, but her posture, defiant, not defeated, piqued him. He nodded. "Deal." Lirien didn't speak for hours after boarding. Kael let her wander the Starblazer, though her fascination with the ship's flickering control panels unnerved him. He offered her a bunk. She refused, curling up near the reactor chamber, where the hum of the engine seemed to soothe her. By the third day, anomalies erupted. The ship's thrusters, which had sputtered for years, now purred like new. The navigation array auto-calibrated, plotting hyper-efficient routes through asteroid belts. When Kael caught Lirien standing in the engine room, her hands hovering over the core as it glowed violet, he froze. "What are you doing?" She turned, her pupils constricting like camera apertures. "Your ship is broken. I stabilized the quantum harmonics. You're fixing it?" "I am harmonizing with it." She gestured to the walls. "Your technology is primitive, but it responds to intent. My people were bred to manipulate quantum states, entangling data, bending probability. The Syndicate used us to crack encryption vaults. Then they tried to weaponize us." Kael's mind raced. Syndicate AI cores had been rumored to harness Ziyara minds, turning them into hive-linked processors. If Lirien could tap into that. "You're not a weapon," he said. "No, but I'm not a passenger either." They barely cleared the grav well of Emir 3 when the Syndicate found them. A matte black cruiser, the Void Maw, dropped from hyperspace, its hull bristling with phase cloaks and disruptor cannons. A hologram of a Syndicate enforcer, human, in a gleaming exosuit, blared across comms. "Merrin, surrender the asset. You're outgunned." Kael's fingers danced over controls. "They're right. We can't outrun a phase lock." Lirien stepped forward. "Let me try." She pressed her palms to the ship's mainframe. The Starblazer shuddered as a field of prismatic light enveloped it. "They're scanning us," Kael said. "They'll see only noise." Lirien's voice sharpened. "Engage thrusters. Now." The ship lurched sideways, warping through a debris field in a maneuver no human could calculate. Syndicate fire missed by meters. Lirien's hands glowed brighter, her eyes unfocused. "Their AI is predictive. It learns from patterns. I've randomized our quantum signature. They'll never lock on." Kael grinned. "You're a hell of a hacker." "I'm not hacking. I'm unmaking their certainty." They limped to Lirien Prime, a fortress world where Syndicate influence dissolved. Kael expected Lirien to vanish into the neon sprawl. Instead, she lingered. "Why stay?" he asked. "You freed me. Not for profit, not for power." She tilted her head. "You're Unpredictable. Like me. He snorted. I'm just a guy with a busted ship. You're a guy who chooses what to trade. She gestured to the cargo hold. I've studied your logs. You smuggle medical kits to embargoed colonies. You don't just survive. You resist. Kael flushed. He'd never called it resistance. Just guilt over past deals that had left orphans begging on Mars domes. Lirien continued. The Syndicate will hunt me, but I can make your ship invisible, untraceable. You help me dismantle their networks. I help you stay alive. You want revenge? I want to erase what they made me. Her voice softened. And I want to understand what I could be. They became a crew. Lirien rewrote the Starblazer's systems, embedding her quantum awareness into its circuits. The ship became a phantom, slipping past blockades and Syndicate patrols. Kael taught her human slang, while she explained the Ziyara's extinct homeworld. A planet erased from space-time by a failed Syndicate experiment. Their first mission: infiltrate a Syndicate data farm orbiting Pluto's dead moon. Kael posed as a mercenary, selling upgraded AI cores. Lirien linked with the farm's mainframe, triggering a cascade that fried every Syndicate server in the sector. They escaped as the facility collapsed into a singularity. You're insane, Kael gasped, bleeding from his ears after Lyrian's quantum surge overloaded his implants. You're welcome, she replied, dabbing his wounds with a steady hand. The Syndicate retaliated. They lured Kael into a trap at the edge of the Kuiper Belt, ambushing him with a swarm of drones. Lirien, however, did something reckless. She tethered her consciousness to the Starblazer's reactor, flooding the drones with entangled particles. The drones turned on each other, their AI cores burning out in seconds. But the strain left her shaking, her scales dull. They're developing countermeasures. I need to evolve. How? There's a Ziyara artifact on Thalos Prime, a quantum lattice that could unlock my full potential, but it's buried in a Syndicate vault. Kael stared at the star map. Thalos Prime was a core system, crawling with enforcers. A death sentence. He grinned. Let's go steal it. The vault was a labyrinth of laser grids and gravity traps. Lirien disabled the first layer, her fingers dancing as if plucking strings only she could see. Kael handled the rest, bribing a guard, slicing a power conduit, and dodging a mechanized turret. When they reached the lattice, a floating orb of fractal light, Lirien hesitated. If I merge with this, I'll lose the last of my Syndicate programming. I may become something else. Kael shrugged. You were never their thing to begin with. She plunged her hands into the lattice. Her body dissolved into particles, then reformed, taller, her skin now a nebula of shifting colors. The Starblazer systems lit up, sensing to her new form. Your ship is now a quantum mirror, she whispered. We exist in superposition. They'll never find us unless we want to be found. The Syndicate declared them ghosts. Rumors spread of a phantom ship crippling their operations. A traitor with a silver tongue and a Ziyara who could erase time itself. On a derelict station near Titan, Kael found a child scavenger, Tali, whose parents had been vaporized by Syndicate raids. Lirien studied her. She has latent Ziyara markers. They experimented on humans too. You want to train her? Kael asked. I want to teach her to choose. They took Tali in. The Starblazer grew into a nomadic ark, rescuing hybrids and defectors. Kael's trade routes shifted from profit to purpose, smuggling refugees, not fuel. Syndicate's apex AI, the Ouroboros Core, was a sentient quantum prison that had enslaved thousands of Ziyara minds. Lirien devised a plan, overloaded with chaotic entanglement, collapsing its network into entropy. They'll expect a frontal assault, Kael said. Let's give them a sideshow. He hijacked a Syndicate freighter, broadcasting a fake auction of Ziyara tech. The core diverted resources to intercept it. Meanwhile, Lirien and Tali breached its central node. Inside, the core taunted her. You're a glitch, Lirien, a flaw in the system. She smiled. Flaws create new systems. The Star Blazer's reactor detonated in a controlled quantum burst, erasing the core's code. Syndicate's grip shattered. In the aftermath, Kael nursed a shattered hull. Lirien stood at the viewport, watching Syndicate stations go dark. "You did it," he said. "No, we did." She turned, her gaze piercing. "You gave me choice. Now I give it back to others." Tally ran up, clutching a data chip. "We're getting messages. Ziyara survivors. They want to join us." Kael sighed. "The ship's getting crowded." "Good." Lirien's voice was steel. "The Syndicate built empires on stolen mines. We'll build something else." He looked at her. No longer a runaway, no longer a tool. A leader. "Then let's trade in our old lives," he said. "For something better." The Starblazer soared toward the Carina Rift, where new systems waited to be rewritten.